Here we are, the 611 podcast, getting ready for the postseason.
Oof.
Our favorite time of year.
Can feel it in the air.
October, comes around. It actually starts before October. It's really September coming down that last stretch, knowing you have a chance to either clinch the division or at least clinch a wild card spot that gets you into the postseason. And it's like the season begins all over.
As we get into the postseason, this is one thing that I've always noticed, right? Some of the teams that will clinch and clinch early, right? A lot of people have been saying that can be to their disadvantage, right? Because you have to, if you get that first round bye, like teams don't necessarily like having to kind of sit and wait and all that kind of stuff.
2024 Dodgers.
Now, when we made it to the World Series in 2008, we had to wait a week. Now, granted, I don't think we knew better. We didn't know that we were supposed to get stale. I think because we were so young and ready to go, and like we were just chomping at the bit. But it's like these teams, number one, having to keep themselves up to compete, because I think the teams that actually make the wild card round at time are the most dangerous teams, because they're fighting, scratching, clawing to get into the postseason. Every game right now for them is a postseason game. It's a playoff game. You get into the postseason. Now you got to get through that first kind of wild card round, and you're geared up. Where then all of a sudden you've got your you've got your rotation, ready to go. Guys have gotten at bat. Now you're going against a colder team. One of the things, I guess, my question would be is, how do you, as those teams that get that bye, stay ready?
Well, I think we can actually look at last year's World Series champions, how they were able to put it together. They didn't come out just on fire the first round. And we can look back the year before when it happened, or a couple years ago when the Braves came out and they get the bye. They didn't hit. So I think what happens first and foremost is the timing. Yeah, your timing goes off. If you're a guy that puts the ball in play, timing doesn't really matter as much. You use the whole field and you're just trying to hit singles. But for power hitters, guys that want to drive the ball, you lose that timing, that feel of what it feels to have 100 miles an hour coming at you, because you're not playing every day. You're getting out of that rhythm. And then there's no way to simulate that when the playoffs do start, you're at home taking batting practice. Right. Even if you do an inter squad game, so to speak, against your pitchers, they're going through the motions. They're working on pitches. They're working on location. You may just be up there tracking. Right. You just want to see the ball, but there's no intent to actually do something meaningful. I think that's the first thing that goes away, and that's what hurts the most. It isn't defense. It isn't mentality. It is a physical thing. You've gone through a whole season of 162 games, and then you have a 7 or 8 day stretch where you're not playing a competitive game. Right. How do you turn it back on? Like you said, like the wild card teams who've been in playoff mode the whole time. Right. Their timing's there. Their intention is there. Their intent is there. What needs to be done is there. They've had to win to get here. You're saying, okay, this is game one. For them, this is just a continuation of the season, because they've never stopped. The biggest thing I've noticed with teams coming off the bye is they're just, like you said, their timing is a little bit off, but they're just not able to match the energy. You can't match the energy. You got to be able to flip that switch and get back into it and somehow get it going. Because like you said, you can be tracking on pitchers, but that adrenaline, you don't have that same adrenaline rush when you're sitting there practicing against the same team. Now, I think we were a little bit different in the sense, like I said, we ain't know any better. Right. And our thing was we were just kind of chomping at the bit to the point to where it was like, I'm tired of seeing the guy in the same uniform. Like, I'm ready to go for real and get after somebody else. And we knew that whoever it was, like, we were going to be on the road. So if we're going to win this thing, we got to get out, and we got to get out quick. So looking at a lot of these teams that have the bye, like you said, the Braves, the Phillies that had gone through it as well, and those other squads that come in as the wild card team, like, the biggest thing I've noticed is they just hadn't been able to match the energy of that wild card team coming in. Yeah. Second thing is the whole game changes in the postseason. 100%. They go back to playing baseball. Yep.
Like everybody was doing long ball and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But if you've noticed, the year the Phillies went to the World Series, the Diamondbacks did the same things the Phillies did the year before. And then you see what the Mets did last year to the Phillies. They started playing, get them on, get them over, get them in.
Exactly, because runs are at a premium.
Yeah.
And it's funny because how they discount certain things during the regular season, you know, RBIs.
Right.
Well, you have to score runs to win the ball game.
Right.
You know, hits, which is a single, you know, whether it's the first pitch or the fifth pitch.
Yeah.
If I get a hit on the first pitch, it's just as golden as making a pitcher throw 8 pitches. I'm on base. We're in position. He's in a stretch. He's under stress immediately.
Yeah.
Before he knows what hit him, one pitch, a runner on first or a runner on second, or you get on first and you're still second base. That's more pressure than having to throw 5 or 6 extra pitches. Pitchers don't really care about their pitch count until they're under stress. They could throw all day.
Right.
So I'm glad you brought that up, that when the postseason starts, that's when real baseball
kicks back
begins.
in. Yeah.
This is our favorite time of the year, like I said. And for all those reasons, because you feel the energy, everything's on the line. But Ryan, let me ask you, what is your favorite postseason moment? We obviously we can't say the 2008, you know, winning,
Series,
like your personal,
right,
for you.
I would say probably going back to 2008, I will say, Brett Myers at bat against CC that led to Shane hitting the grand slam. And as you said before, with pitchers, like CC was going on, you know, he was on like 15 minutes rest.
Right.
And the way that Brett Myers had gone, and I think he worked like a 15, 16
just
pitch
fouling
at bat,
pitches off,
and then walks. And then Shane comes up and hits the grand slam. I knew right then, I was like, because CC was the one. I was like, if we're going to win this thing, we got to get past this dude.
Yep, we all knew that.
And once we got past him, I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to go to the World Series. We got a good chance to try to win this thing.
Yeah.
So for me, that was probably the biggest postseason moment.
And the funny part, I'll add to that Brett Myers piece, is that when he walks, I was on deck. He walked and he looked at me with those. He gave me that look, like, because he told me, he said, like, I'm going to work him for a walk. Like he, in his mind, he already had it made up. So he walked, he kind of looked at me, flipped the bat, like, it's on you, big boy. And I'm like, shoot, I like facing CC. I didn't have any issues. And I think I ended up getting the walk too. But it was definitely one of those things. It was, our mantra was, you know, pass the baton, starting in 2007. And then it was, why not us in 08? You know, so those things were already in our DNA. And look, Brett, you're not a hitter.
No.
Your job is to get to the hitters. No. And he did his job. Yeah. I got a walk, and then Shane hit the grand slam. And I was, like I said, at that point, it was like, it's on.
Yeah.
Like we jumped that big hurdle. I think for me, it was hard to say one moment because there were two, and Shane was involved.
Yeah.
And was in 08. I think it was 08 when Shane hit the home run in right field that just cleared the fence off of the curveball pitcher.
Yeah, and
was it Wade or something? Curveball pitcher in LA.
Yep.
And then the next night, Matt Stairs and that moon shot off of Broxton. Oh my goodness!
My gosh.
That was that. It was those. It's always those moments that say, this is meant to be. Like, they don't happen. Like, that moment, it gave me energy. Like, you know what? Yeah. It doesn't matter that I'm 0 for 4 right now. He just put us on the top. It's about winning this game because everybody wants to do their part. You do. Because at the end of the day, you're like, man, like, we lost. What could I have done?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when you have a hero like Matt Stairs come here to the moon. He put us on his back, and it's like, we're to the moon, guys.
I thought I was going to pass out because as soon as it came off his bat, I thought that thing was out the stadium.
Once again, I was on deck.
Loud, and I was like,
oh my gosh.
That's going to leave that's going to the parking lot.
Everything.
Man, I was jumping up and down. I got lightheaded and the whole thing. I was like, wait a minute, I got to come back. I might have to hit.
He had one job.
Yeah.
He had one job.
And he will tell you.
He knew it. Brush knew it. The whole world of baseball knew he had one job.
Yep.
And to see it happen in the way it did, my God.
And he became Employee of the Month on that one piece right there. That was it. But what's your take on rivalries? I mean, we've had so many there's so many great moments that we've had like in the postseason. Like we can keep going all like your hit against Broxton. You know, my blackout moment where I was like, get me to the plate. Like there's so many different things.
Yep. Two teams, two organizations, two cities. You care less about each other.
Well, we've seen it.
Sense.
We've seen it with LA and San Diego.
Oh yeah.
Multiple years.
That's a good one. That's a new one.
Or
That's
potentially
a good one.
LA and San Francisco. It's just the rivalry is already crazy.
Yep.
Now you put it into the postseason and it magnifies
takes it to another
everything 10 times, you know, to where each play, each pitch up and in, right? Where it's like, all right, dude, we got to see y'all, you know, later on down the line. But now it's like it's up and in the postseason. Like it means that much more, where it's like, hey, but you already know benches clearing and all that kind of stuff.
We had a couple of those incidents.
Yeah, we had a couple, well, thanks to Shane, but still. Shane
always blames me for everything, so I don't know what I did. But Shane, every time we talked about something, it was always Jimmy because you stole a base. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to win.
He's like,
game.
I just did my job.
That's it.
So you gonna blame me for doing my job?
You know, that's not my fault.
That's it. Well,
I guess Brett did hit Manny in the ribs a couple times, and Kuroda didn't like that.
Well,
so.
probably.
Yeah,
probably.
we could blame Brett.
But I think that's one of the funnest things I think about the postseason is that if you one is making the postseason and being able to compete. But two, if you get the opportunity to play against one of your top rivals, man, it's like that's almost like a World Series in itself.
It really is.
Because at least then you want to go to the mountaintop, but at least if you didn't, at least you can say, "Hey, we beat them."
Right,
you know what I mean? So you got bragging rights.
You
got the bragging rights at least
for sure
for the time being. So.
No, and with that said, how do you come down off of that? You know, if you're playing your rival in the first round and LCS. It seems like it would, you know, perpetuate you to want to continue to go further. Like, you know, we beat you to get here. Now we're going to make sure we stamp this. Where in the division series, you're still a whole series away. How do you not come off that high? And we know this when you have that big series, you play the next team and trap. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because like I said, it's like a mini World Series before you even get there.
Right. Well, it just depends, right? Because a lot of the times we'll use the Boston Red Sox and Yankees back when we were playing, right? Those two teams, it was always like, hey, one of these teams is going to win the World Series.
Right.
So it was kind of like if they play, or at least get there, right? Yeah. Well, on paper, it was like one of these two teams are supposed to win the World Series. They're both World Series favorites.
And it's mainly the Yankees at that time.
Right. So it's like when you look at it like that, you're basically like, well, everybody's looking at this series like, well, whoever wins this is going to win the World Series.
Right.
You know, and I'm sitting there thinking like when we were waiting, you know, it was the Rays and Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
whoever wins this is going to win the World Series.
Right. Because
and I was like, easily.
Boston was supposed to beat Tampa Bay. And then it was going to be like, oh, well, if Boston beat Tampa Bay, well, then they should have just run through us.
Yeah.
Right. But it was like, it wasn't. So I'm like, you just never know with those situations.
Yeah.
But when you get those types of situations with those two types of teams that are supposed to, quote unquote, get to the World Series and win the World Series, it can be a little bit tough because when one of them gets there, you beat the other guy, you get up top, and you just don't know what's going to happen. But you think that they're the favorites to win, and then the underdog comes in and takes it.
Is there a rivalry right now, currently, that you're looking forward to seeing in this postseason? Because as it stands, you know, like we talked about the West, we talked about the West Coast, the little brother Padres and the Dodgers, and the Padres have knocked them out, and the Dodgers have done the same.
I mean, I always enjoy the Dodgers Padres. I did not want to see the Mets last year.
I didn't either.
The Phillies.
They were too hot.
I knew that as the season was going on, and like we were talking about earlier with the wild card, I was like, that's the one team for the Phillies that I do not want the Phillies to match up with right now.
That was us in 11 versus the Cardinals.
Yeah, play anybody. Yeah, exactly.
We knew it was like that's one team that if we get by, we're good.
Right.
But we have our hands full.
Yeah.
We knew that.
So I think those two would be great rivalries to be able to see.
I would love to see Yankees in Toronto.
I would love to see Toronto get over the hump.
Yes.
And to get over the hump, you gotta beat the ones who made it. You gotta take down the kings, if you will.
Right. And the way that Toronto flipped the season this year and going all the way back to Vlad Jr. saying, well, I'm not afraid of the Yankees. Mm-hmm. Like he said that, like, y'all do not scare me. Mm-hmm. And I remember it because I look forward to that happening. Like, here's your moment now. Like you flipped them in the season, you close out the division. Now here's your chance to beat them on the biggest stage, because all the season counts for seeding. Yep. For lack of a better term, but here's your chance to put them out to prove that you're not afraid of the Yankees.
This is where the real season starts.
Yes, I look forward to that.
This is where the real season starts.
I really hope that happens. I really hope that happens.
Yeah. So, Jimmy, as we continue our postseason discussions.
Yes, Ryan.
I'd like to jump into our banana boat ritual
boat
segment.
Section.
And
I got a boat. Actually, I sold the boat. I don't have it.
You did? So you sold it?
Yeah, it wasn't banana.
The ink dried?
It wasn't banana. It was Mastercraft though. X24, beautiful boat. Mm. I digress. Yes, the banana boat.
Yes,
ritual.
And
I'm sorry, Ryan.
No. Congratulations. They always say the best day of a person who owns a boat is the day they get it and the day they sell it.
That may be true. I enjoyed the days I was fishing on it too.
Well, that too. Yeah. Well, you probably had like one day. You only had it for like a week. So I'm sure you were enjoying it. You get all that other stuff going. But I digress.
Yes, sir.
So the banana boat ritual segment. Postseason. Obviously, during the regular season, you had your normal routine. Did that change at all during the postseason with everything that was kind of around and the hype, and you got more media, you got more people in the clubhouse and just all kind of different attention? Did you have to alter anything that you would normally do with your ritual due to more bodies potentially being in the clubhouse?
That is a great question, because there's the first time in the postseason versus, the fourth, the fifth time we have the experience. Mm-hmm. The first time I think we went through it, we were asking each other, what do we do?
Right.
Do we try to turn up because it's the postseason, or does adrenaline take you there? Mm. And we only played in, I think, 3 games our first postseason.
Yes, we did.
We got mopped. But the next year, I think we had that little bit of experience. Like, nothing changes. Mm. We have to do the exact same thing that got us here. There are more bodies around. So what I noticed for myself is I just disappeared into the back. Mm. Because if you're at your chair, someone's always going to want to come ask you something, and you get your mind wrapped around who's pitching, what's going to be your approach today. You run through different situations in your mind, runner on, make this play, make that play. What's the decision to make? All those things that are happening. So when the game starts, it's second nature. You've already done your research. You've already done your studies. You're familiar, with the scenario if it happens. If you're up at the plate, what needs to be done? I'm not a guy that bunts a lot, but I know how to sacrifice bunt. I've had to do it. You run through all those things, and with so many bodies and more media and cameras, and people want to ask questions, and sometimes they're good questions, sometimes it's just something to have to print or to air. You have to take some time for yourself. You have to get away. And for us, that was going into the gym and just find a little corner, or going into the massage room, which is right outside the gym, and just just having that moment just to myself. But the music routine stayed the same. 30 minutes before the game starts, everybody time to lock in. Prior to that, just do your thing, because when you start changing what you do, you get out of yourself. Mm-hmm. Now you're not putting yourself in position or in a mood or a mode that you've been putting yourself in all year long to get ready to play that game.
Right.
And what about yourself?
Agreed. I didn't really change too much. I mean, I went in, I would do my normal routine coming in and going in the training room and like doing a little contrast, the whole gig. But like you said, when more bodies started entering the clubhouse,
and we say more bodies, we're not talking about 5.
We're talking about like when 30, all the media and everybody were coming into the clubhouse, it was kind of like, okay, I need a place where I can go so I can start to get mentally locked in. Now, occasionally, depending upon what game it was, what the situation was, like you may answer a couple questions prior to, but then it was either, okay, hey, I'm gonna, answer these 2 questions, and then I got to shoot down to the cage and go get my get my work in, or I got to run back here, or I'm gonna go grab something to eat, or whatever it was. The amount of bodies where you understand those folks are trying to do their job, it's like, yo, I got to do my job, because if I don't do my job, your job is going to be talking about me at the end of the day.
And they will. They will. They can't wait.
So when it came to that, you had to have that balance of like, okay, hey, I'll get a couple questions, but then I gotta jet and go over here, go do this or whatever. So try to, give them a little appetizer, and then go out there, put down the main course, and then boom, do what you needed to do that day. So tried not to change it, but just tried to avoid like all the extra bodies and all the extra hype. And just like you said, it was just play the game. Nothing changes. It's like the lights might be a little brighter, and there's more people watching. You're one of, however many teams still left. So yes, everything's going to get amped up, but you still got to catch the ball. You still got to hit the ball. You still got to throw the ball.
Yep.
So that didn't change. And I think like when we got to 07, like you said, and we got boat race by the Rockies,
like, what do we do?
I was like, bro, when we made it, the first thing was when we clinched, I was like, and we were celebrating, I was like, damn, we kind of celebrating hard. Like you would have thought we just won the World Series. We didn't know. So once we made it,
champagne burned your vision.
Right. And then I got goggles and people start making fun of me.
You can't even see.
No, you can't. So then we lose to or when we get to the Rockies and we start playing, and I just think it was like we didn't necessarily know what to expect. So what happens? This is the postseason. Like,
and they were the wild card team, like we talked about earlier. And they were just running. They were rolling up. We had to play every game out too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But they won like 20 of 22 something coming into that. They were the hottest team in baseball, and they were rolling. They steamrolled us.
Yep. They were the most dangerous team at that time in baseball. And so I didn't know what to expect. I was like, so if I hit the ball, is it going to explode? Like, what? Is there going to be confetti coming out?
That 400-footer now goes 502.
Right. You know what I mean? Like it goes a little bit further or whatever. So it was that, and it took us getting beat to where it was like coming back in the spring training. We had that conversation where it was like, why not us? And then it was just, okay, we know what we needed to do. We still got the same nucleus of guys. And it was just going out there, playing our brand of baseball, which we did. And then got to the mountaintop.
Got to the mountaintop, for sure. Speaking of, we have the young guns in baseball, for lack of a better term, the big arms that these teams are bringing up. And we hate to go old school, but like 07, the same way in 10. We had it was De La Rosa and Ubadi Jimenez with Colorado, who we saw one time, and it's like we have no book on these guys. Then we get to 10, we got Bumgarner and Lincecum, and although we had Lincecum's first game, we really had no book on these guys. We don't know how to approach them. And for me, I always felt that was the advantage, because they always say the first time you see a pitcher is definitely advantage him. Especially if he has a little bit of time, he has the advantage. You don't know how he's trying to set you up. You're not certain of his ball movement yet. A lot of things that you question. Yes, they say, see the ball over the plate, but, a little movement, little, cut, little sink, four-seamer, what his breaking ball does. All those are things that we need to be aware of so we can understand what the pitch is trying to do.
Right.
These teams that have seemingly brought up young guys that have been able to handle the pressure, those young guys are untouchable for a while because you don't know what to do.
Right.
And we have some teams that are in the playoff picture right now that have some great young arms that are coming up. And I think it's to their advantage. And one team atop of the AL East and the Toronto Blue Jays have a young man by the name of Trey Yesavage. I'm going to call him Yesavage. It's like Dior, like Savage, because he's a beast on the mound.
Okay.
He's done well. He hasn't really played in anything, I would say, of this magnitude. Went to ECU. He played in the Super Regional as a freshman, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
So when I say he hasn't played, it's been a while, shall I say, since he's played in a game that meant everything, where it felt like the world was watching. In college baseball, the college world is watching. The scouts are watching. MLB's watching because they want to see who their next draft. So this young man's going to get a chance to make his impact on the playoffs. But before we go down the road. What is your thought about the young arms coming up? And we have a number that we're just going to run through, give some names.
No, absolutely. I think the first thing is that I love it from the standpoint of getting the experience. Because I think as an organization, you're sitting here telling this kid like, hey, we believe in you and we're going to bring you up in a situation to where this is what we play for. We're playing to try to win a championship, and we feel like you are going to be a part of that, and we need you to help us do that. So by giving these guys this type of experience, first and foremost, going into the postseason, like granted, Trey Yesavage, I'm gonna call him Trey Yesavage. Trey Ye, had a great debut.
Yeah.
Great debut. Which for him, again, you're wanting to continue to build that confidence. And like you said, I think first time through, the pitcher has the advantage.
5 innings, 9 Ks.
And you run it and you run with it. And I think with these organizations getting behind these kids, giving them the opportunity to get the experience in the postseason, will play straight into their benefit. And then for future years to come, I think as they can continue to make those adjustments and understanding the magnitude of the situation is the biggest thing, because we've seen it with pitching where starting pitching, as we understand, like we said, the game changes in the postseason. And with starting pitching, like when we were playing, guys did not want the ball taken out of their hands.
Right.
Cliff, Roy, Cole, like hell, even Jamie. JB, like Joe B, like those guys did not want to come out of games. And you understand now how much more important it's getting back to with starting pitching in the postseason, to where, like I always said, the less hands that have the opportunity to touch the ball, like the less hands it is or less chance it is for somebody to mess up.
Yep.
So if your starting pitcher is carrying you and saving your bullpen so that you can get set up for later in the series or potentially down the road to the next series, like having these guys be able to come up here and come do that, giving them the opportunity. And if they can, put that load on their back, I love it.
No doubt.
I love it.
What about the next young man? Cam
Man,
Schlittler.
You got them pinstripes on.
Right. And this is a little, let's talk about that. Although we've never wore the blue pinstripes.
Right.
It's a little more pressure.
Yeah.
Doing it with the Yankees. 27-time World Series champions. They are literally only expected to win the World Series. And there are few organizations that you can say that if they don't win the World Series, they feel, the organization and the teams feel that the season was a bust. Like, what do we even show up for if we're not going to win the World Series?
Right.
And they're one of them. That's the expectation, the greatness that the Yankees have been for Major League Baseball. When you look at the number of championships, there are teams beneath them, don't get me wrong, but no one's really close to the Yankees. So those pinstripes, they do make a difference.
So to that point, how do you overcome that? If you're a young buck,
to a veteran.
Playing in New York.
Talk to a veteran. You have Garrett Cole there. You have Rodon there. Guys that have pitched in a World Series. At least one for sure that has won a World Series. They know what it's like. They know what it's like to pitch in those pinstripes. They know the expectation. And ask, does that routine change?
Right.
Because there's adrenaline. But when you're throwing the ball and it's you, every single pitch has more adrenaline, and we've seen pitchers that come in with more adrenaline. They overthrow the sliders, and the break isn't there, and they're getting whacked around pretty good. So how do you control that? Does their routine change? I know mine and yours didn't as a position player truly change, but maybe there's something that needs to happen on the mound, because we've seen guys who normally throw 94, 95 during the season, and a postseason everything is 97. I'm like, where did that come from? Pure adrenaline. So that's a question I can't truly answer. I would say talk to the older guys.
No, I think that's a great, some great advice. And as you were speaking, it just took me back to what we were just talking about, like from 2007 to 2008. Understanding like, okay, hey, what did I do when I was going during the regular season?
Right.
Now, the expectations are raised, right? Because you're playing for a championship, or are they? You know what I'm saying? Like, even during the regular season, you're playing to play for a championship. That never changes.
Right.
So now all of a sudden you get to the postseason, and all of a sudden now you're in it.
Right.
And you're like, oh no, yeah, we're playing for a champ. Well, you were always, when you were in spring training,
right,
you were training and playing and preparing to compete to get to the postseason to play for a championship. So that's where my mindset goes back to from 2007, like, is the ball going to explode when I hit it?
Right.
To just going back to like normal ABs and just playing the game and trusting what you've been doing the entire time, like, and making your adjustments as you need to make your adjustments. And like you said, not like using the adrenaline for the power of good and not the power of evil and throwing a ball off the backstop because you're just so hyped up, like just staying within yourself. Like Charlie used to tell us all the time, know thyself. Right. So I think for these young pitchers that this would be their first time, the biggest thing that the one piece of advice that I would give them is just, dude, it's still the same. Like, it's you and your catcher. Like, you're still trying to hit your spots and hit your game plan, however it is. Just because there's the external hype, it's external.
Right.
You don't need to put all that extra pressure on you.
Right.
Because they gonna do it. So if you allow it, then yeah, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna screw up. But if you go out there and just do you, then you should hopefully be okay.
My man hit us with is that DC or is that Marvel? The power of good versus the power of evil. That was it is with.
Yes, I'm sure it was in all of them.
This next kid, he's definitely using it for the evil. If you're a Philly, but good if you're a Milwaukee Brewer.
Right.
The Miz,
yes,
Jake
sir.
Misiorowski, man, this guy, and if you look at him, there's nothing about him that looks like he's an assassin on the mound.
No.
I mean, he's just a big old smile, look like he's still 12 years old playing the game, but he just stretched out and became tall and happens to throw 100.
That
filthy. I think he's one that's slightly different than the rest because he's actually had some time. I think he came up like right before the All-Star break. Has a number of starts. There's a book out on him. It doesn't make it easier.
No.
He's not a guy that you want to face in the postseason. And he has a manager in Pat Murphy. And although I'd never played for Pat Murphy, he was going to be my head coach at ASU. We've seen how he's been able to tame that group, get that group, and buy into what he's doing. So to have a young pitcher like him and a grizzled veteran manager and Pat Murphy, who's been around the game forever, actually looks like a linebacker coach more than an MLB manager. He finds a way to get his team to play his style, which he's gotten them to believe it's their style of baseball. Good pitching, doing all the little things, playing good defense, not giving extra outs. Coming up with timely hits, and they do have some pop, but they have arms on the mound. And Jake the Miz is one of the big ones.
Man, you said it. I don't even know how to follow that up.
That's how I felt when you gave my speech, but you got to find a way, player. You got to find a way. You're not running from that one.
You know what? Again, it goes back to just being yourself. Like, because you throw 100, that don't mean you need to come out trying to throw 104, right? Keep doing what got you there in the first place. And Pat, again, like, we could have been teammates in college.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, man, that would have been.
We wouldn't have made it to the big leagues.
Yeah,
but
we would have never made it to the big leagues over there. But
college fun.
But I mean, obviously, like you said, they are buying into what Pat Murphy is selling over there in Milwaukee. And those guys, I feel like they just continue to kind of slide under the radar to where it's like, oh, Milwaukee is, they're a good team. They're great, and they're doing well. But like,
let's be honest.
But what are they going to do in the postseason?
It's about the geography. If they're on the East Coast or the West Coast, they'd be America's team right now.
Right. So I think, with Miz, like you said, they've got a book on him. He's got a book on guys and understanding who it is, what he wants to try to do. And again, it's just going out there and not getting too amped up and staying within yourself, because the postseason, is a different animal if you allow it to be. The game is the same game, but you just have to realize, like, figure out how to tame it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, take it, like I said, use that extra energy for good and amp yourself up in the right way. Yeah. Build up. don't break down. That's it. The whole Dr. Evil, you stupid. You know, this postseason, is this the year that the Phillies get over the hump?
I hope so. I mean, the way they've played down the stretch, Ryan, I've been impressed. Yeah. They had the home stretch, which really brought them being able to clinch the division this soon, the soonest I think it's ever been done. I think we were the first in 11 with we clinched on we clinched on September 17th. I think actually same day I made my debut, September 17th. And in saying that, I've been watching the way they've played, and it reminds me of when we said it doesn't matter what the score looks like.
Right.
Win the championship innings. Win innings 7 and 8, and if you have to win 9, win 9 also.
Yeah.
But hopefully you already have it in position that 9 is the win, as in the closer coming in on at home or on the road. So I'm starting to see that in them.
Yeah.
Where in the past it kind of seemed like, you know, things would happen.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, things have to happen. Now it's like they're making things happen. They're putting themselves in position every night to make something happen. And it doesn't matter who it is. If it's the first batter, the 8th batter, or the 5th batter, somewhere along that lineup, someone's getting a chance to do something special, and they're delivering. I mean, they are starting to, I think, finally see the difference of things happening, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to speak things into existence. We're going to show up every night. We don't know how we're going to win, but we're going to win a ball game, and you see that.
Yeah. I think, too, HB, Harrison Bader, has been
the crab walk.
A nice little injection of adrenaline, you know, for the squad as well. And the biggest thing, too, that I've seen, too, is like everybody's contributing. The bottom of the lineup is coming through. You know what I mean? Everybody's getting hits. They're able to get on base, manufacture runs. Bottom of the lineup's getting on base for the top of the lineup, which is giving them opportunities to be able to go out there and get runs and knock those guys in. And even still, when the top of the lineup's not necessarily getting it done, the bottom of the lineup is still kind of coming through. So you got to have that, I think, to continue to get all the way through. These guys are playing on all cylinders. They're clicking on all cylinders right now.
Yes.
You got to continue to maintain that. And like I say, keep that same energy that you have right now and continue to try to carry it all the way through. I think it's a good opportunity. My man Schwarb is going crazy right now, hitting homers left and right. Yeah, hitting homers left and right, man. So, you know, it's when he's on, you know, it's one of those things. I think that when he gets really, really hot, he can carry a team. And right now, his teammates are helping him carry the entire load because everybody is doing their part and helping to move them where it is they want to be. So I think they got a really good shot. They just got to keep up the energy and keep everything going, because you mess around, you get one of these buys, like you have to keep the energy up. You got to keep the energy up.
And that's on Tomper also. You know, they did the cameras in the clubhouse, and you know, Tomper asked JT how many more we need, and I love this answer. What was his answer? However many more it takes. That lets them know, we accomplished step 1, but the job isn't done. Right. However many more wins it takes, that's what we need. There's no number. Right. We know you get to the playoffs, you get that first round bye. I think it's the first one to win 11 games. You go on. Yeah. And now they're focused. They've been knocked out too many times. Times to not know what it takes. Now, will it happen? Things have to happen. They still have to happen your way. Yeah. But to not have that fire, they've been knocked out. They've been to the World Series, got knocked out, the LCS, then a division series. Yeah. They've had that taste of, this doesn't feel good. We don't want this anymore. Right. You know, that sip of champagne. They still waiting. They're still waiting on that taste of sweet victory champagne. And this year, I really, truly think, especially the way they've played these last 10 games, they have all the pieces. Yeah. Things still have to go right, but I think I'm seeing that fire in their gut, that they're like, we're tired of not winning. And I love it.
I like that. Absolutely. I like that too. So as we bring it to a close, 3 little rapid fire questions. Okay. Who wins American League? Who wins the National League? And who's taking the whole thing?
I'm going to hang out on a limb because I want to see these guys. And that's Toronto. Yep. So with that being said, I'm going to say T-Dot.
Mm-hmm.
The NL, whew, it's tough, and I'm covering the NL this year. I'm covering the NL this year. We might be
on the same tip here. Let's see
with TNT. The Dodgers just haven't been the Dodgers.
No.
San Diego is a team, man. They're tough. Milwaukee, but I'm not going to go against my boys. I just talked up all the reasons why they should win this year.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia coming out the NL.
Yeah.
And it's a remake, a replay of 1993 all over.
Mm-hmm.
T-Dot versus the Phillies. No, well, not all over. Let me reframe that. Let me rephrase that. It's not going to happen all over the same. I'm saying the matchup.
Right.
But the result is I'm going to be in Philadelphia. We're going to be on either like the last float or the first float.
That'll work.
We'll be going down Broad Street with the boys.
That'll work.
Yeah, that's what I got. What about you?
I mean, great minds think alike.
Yes, sir, they do.
Like you said, I think this is the year where Toronto can truly get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
If they get out of their own, if they stay out of their own way, I think that coming out of the American League, yes, the Yankees are the Yankees. They have the experience.
Mm-hmm.
You have a bunch of teams that have the experience. Now, Detroit also.
I like Detroit.
Detroit is sneaky.
They are.
Detroit, I think it would be, for sure. I mean, honestly, Cleveland is always one of those teams that can be sneaky and upset somebody. But I can see it to where I think you get a Tigers, Blue Jays, ALCS. I think the Blue Jays come out on top. And then
easy travel too.
Yeah, easy
Toronto
travel.
To Detroit.
Yeah. I would love
travel.
that. I would love that travel. Yeah. So, and then I think the Phillies, like you said, all those things. Dodgers just right now aren't the Dodgers. You can't necessarily count them out because of the experience that they have. But I just looking at it, man, and you just right now you don't know what Milwaukee team, are you going to get the same Milwaukee team that you've had all season? And this Phillies team has had the experience in the postseason to where, in my opinion, it's theirs to lose. You know, and these guys have all the pieces right now. You're clicking on all cylinders. I think it's the Blue Jays and the Phillies, and I think the Phillies right the ship, and they even it up and take it over from Toronto. So then the fans from 93 can, finally let go of all that heartache and heartbreak. So
you're saying 08 didn't do it?
Well, I mean, 08 did it, but this one hits different though.
Right.
This one hits different because it was supposed to be 93. Because I remember like watching those teams in 90, watching that team in 93.
It's very well documented. I'm a Ricky Henderson fan, so we'll just leave it at that. That brings us to a wrap. No guest segments, just Ryan and I spitting, our facts. Hot fire.
So stay with us throughout this entire postseason here on the 611. Why? You may ask. That's a great question. I have the answer.
Hot takes.
Catch these hot takes.
Catch them.
Like hot takes.
I was. I mean, that's a big pause. Like what? Right? What pause? Cause like, I mean, you just never know what's going to come out this man's mouth. I don't even know what's coming out his mouth. But what you do know at the 611, you need to listen in. Check us out.
That's right.
We're going to bring you some good stuff. Signing off till next time. World Series of Bust Phillies. We calling that here? That's 611. You heard it here first?
We're calling it.
You heard it here first.